Good morning, everybody. How are you? Today is Friday, as you all know. Q&A will be later. The car still won't start, so Stephanie's going to take the streetcar, and I'm going to bike to work, which means certain rain on me later today. I'm going to go downstairs, going to make some coffee, going to get this day going. So we didn't end up having a bonfire last night, but we did eat burritos, and that was, at the end of the day, the most important thing I needed. I have the battery on the charger now, so we're going to see if that works. If that doesn't work, my friend Charles and I are going to push the car to the top of the Fremont Bridge and then just kind of let it fall off into the river. No, I'm kidding. I think I got to get a new starter if this doesn't work. So, you know, we'll just keep this thing going. We're going to keep the old rusty Land Rover rolling as long as she can. Stephanie has her work clothes on right now. She looks ready for work. Lexington also looks ready for something. He's probably ready for that ball. Take Stephanie, the old train stop. She's going to get on the streetcar and go to work. I feel like we were just doing this a few months ago. Going on here, it's like a bunch of people playing with pieces of wood. Where is everybody? No one's here. Just got home. It says the battery's charged, so I'm gonna give this one try in the car. If it doesn't work, I'm moving on with my day. Okay, so this is the moment where the car does not start after I charge the battery. Okay, so it did start. It's still making that strange noise though. It started, that was very interesting, but I think that the starter is messed up. That sound was very crunchy, if you know what I mean. So I'm gonna let this thing sit. I'm gonna have to dive into it more, but let's get on with this day. Let's do Q&A. Hello, YouTubers. How's it going? Friday here, and it is time for Q&A, because that's what happens on Fridays. I've been running around like crazy all day, so I'm going to answer a few questions before I move on to the next project of the day. So let's just dive right in. The first one is from Jaspery. I hope I'm saying your name right. Hello, Jaspery. Nice to hear from you. And his question is this. He says, a lot of my shots of Portland are from perspectives that I haven't seen before. What places do I film from? Now, Jaspery, if I told you my secret locations for filming, I would have to kill you. That's actually really a bad thing to do. I wouldn't kill you. Alright, so here's the deal. So some of you know from past Q&As that I went to film school. And one of my favorite aspects of working on films in film school was location scouting. I just absolutely loved it. In some other universe, I am a location scouter. I love it that much. I love driving around, finding new locations, new perspectives, everything. I just love it. Whenever I move to new places, I like to explore a lot. And I feel like I found a lot of the perspectives that you're talking about from just kind of exploring. If you want to know the general area I go when I usually look for this, it's around like Pittock Mansion, Northwest Hills, that area. If you're curious about shooting interesting perspectives of Portland, something that's going to help is a long lens. I am not kidding. I use a JCPenney 200mm lens from like the 70s. I have an adapter that I hook it up to the DSLR, and that's how I get a lot of those shots. The rest of it is just finding things that you think are interesting and pleasing to the eye. So I hope that answers your question. Maybe I'll get a little more in depth one day and show you some of the locations I film from. That's generally where I go, is like Pittock Mansion, that area. Some other shots are from Rocky Butte, which is all the way out in southeast. And that's another really interesting area, and there's never really anybody there. So if you're watching YouTube, go to Rocky Butte. It's a great place. It's also a really cool place to take kids to watch planes take off. It's beautiful there. Kids love watching planes, right? So that's that question. The next question is from Clay Miller. He's another sort of new subscriber. How's it going, Clay? It's very, very awesome to have you involved with this. And his question is, what is a good place to buy a bike in Portland? I'm going to suggest going to the Goodwill bins, which is almost in Milwaukee. A lot of bikes there, of varying quality, but you can usually, if you go enough, find a decent bike. I don't really like bike stores, and I go to them usually to buy parts, but I find them extremely overpriced. I wanted to get my brakes changed, and they wanted $175 to do that. I couldn't believe the price, and if you're handy enough, I feel like you can build a bike. You can find a bike on Craigslist, which is another good place. The closest bike store to me that I go to sometimes is that one up on Alberta, and that one's not bad. I would suggest that one too. Check Craigslist, check Goodwill, you'll find something. So the last question I'm going to answer today is from Official Yowsi. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. Feel free to slap me in the face and tell me how to pronounce it below in the comments. But you have an interesting question. I feel like I've kind of touched on this before, but you have a few things in it that are a little different. And you want to know, you want a quick rundown of what living in Portland is like and what Portland lifestyle is like. On top of that, you also want to know if there's any good hot spots, if there's any good venues, and if Portland's a good place to raise a kid. So I'm going to dive into those and answer them as well as I can. Firstly, living in Portland, as I've said in the past Q&A, is not really much different than living other places. The benefit of living in Portland versus other cities like San Francisco, LA, New York, Chicago, is that there is an abundance of nature right around the city. And that's a major reason I wanted to move here, was that I feel like when I lived in LA, when I lived in San Francisco, when I lived in New York, you are in a bubble, and sometimes you are trapped in that bubble. I wanted to leave LA a few times, and I think I was stuck in traffic for 2 hours before I even felt like I was out of the city. The same thing with leaving Brooklyn. It's just a lot of effort to get to a place to relax. So that lifestyle is very interesting about Portland, is you could just leave and be out of here in 15 minutes, and it's amazing. In the summers, I know that I like to go out and I have a great time, and there's a lot of people having a blast. So Portland's full of people having a good time. In terms of venues, I used to actually be the production manager of Alhambra Theater. We closed last June. I really like the No. I would check that place out if you're ever here. I enjoyed Kelly's the other night too, Kelly's Olympia in downtown. That was also a cool place. There's so much music here and there's so many venues, I just can't pick one. And the last question I'm going to answer of yours today is Portland a good place to raise a kid? Now, I don't have a kid, so I can't really answer that question 100%. But I know Stephanie and I talk about, if we ever do have a kid, how we think it would be an amazing place to raise a kid. I feel like the opportunities around here to explore and kind of feel a part of nature and history and city is a really kind of cool thing. And that's another question. If I ever end up having a kid, I will answer more. Anyway, I hope I answered your questions. If I missed any, please again, just write them below and I will answer them next week. Today is crazy, so I'm going to head on out, but it was great to do this Q&A. I love these things, and let's just keep this day going. Let's see where we end up next. So I biked in the rain all the way to Stephanie's work, and I'm helping them because they're remodeling the store. Stephanie's boss wants me to film a video, kind of just showing the transition from before and after stuff. So they have the windows all taped up, and Stephanie's in their painting right now, so I'll show you some of that when I'm filming their video. We'll keep you updated. I'm still at Stephanie's store helping out here. Just painted this wall. We moved this forward, and now we have to clear coat these bad boys. So we just got home, and there's already seeds sprouting. Incredible. Can you guys see it? A little chamomile coming up right there. Pretty cool.
And then here's a cabbage.
And a bok choy, which I think Stephanie covered up again. Alright, we just got home after a long session, long day. Hope you guys enjoyed Q&A. I'm going to finish this leftover 40 from yesterday. So it was really like a 20. But anyway, hope you guys all have a wonderful evening, and I will see you tomorrow. I don't want to break your